Hello everybody! Welcome to another Friday with the Dannphan. A fantastic Friday with Dannphan, in fact. Huh? What do you think about that? How's everybody doing? I hope you're all having a very good week. Sorry, no videos this week. It's been kinda difficult keeping up with the videos for a variety of reasons. I guess mostly just because, working on comic stuff and trying to keep everything in order. And next week, I'm just going to end up going dark online because we actually have a trip planned out with friends for next week. It is hopefully going to be a worthwhile trip, I guess. So, no videos next week either, but we will come back better than ever, fully refreshed, and then we'll start getting into doing some more videos again. It is a shame, the timing of everything, of course, because we still have the Fund My Comic page open, but it's only going to be open for a little bit longer. Oh my god. Anyone else keep on having like this glitch with X or Twitter or whatever you call it, where you go to the site, but everything is just blank, and it's like, welcome to X, start posting. It's like, what are you talking about? I've been posting for like 5 years. Such a pain. Alright, well, I'll just pull it up over here, and we can take a look at how the Fund My Comic campaign is going. Yeah, it feels like it's been having that issue recently. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. But, yeah, so we have like 14 more days on this campaign. And then pre-orders are just gonna be closed about, for the Reaper Book 1 and 2 campaign. And then I just have to work on finishing the thing and getting it into your hands. And that'll be great, huh? Yeah, I thought it was just me, Twitter not working right now. Yeah, it's not just you. I've been having that issue like on and off recently, where sometimes everything loads and everything's normal, and then other times it's like, welcome to X, new user. There's no post anywhere on this website yet. And it's like, oh god, here we go. It's one of those days on Twitter, I guess. But, yeah, whatever. You know what? I can use occasional breaks from Twitter, so maybe I shouldn't even be mad. The only thing to really be upset about is, trying to promote a campaign, trying to make sure that you're keeping up with posts and that people are gonna see the posts. But I guess I can always make some community posts on YouTube instead. Nice new profile pic. People liked the Frieren thumbnail so much that I was like, maybe I should just use that face as my profile pic. I mean, I wouldn't be the first one to use like an anime meme for a profile pic, so it's not like it's that out of the ordinary, right? For Twitter or X, assuming that it ever starts working again, I was thinking maybe I should do like a icon of Ichabod or something. The character from the comic series. Do like a chibi whatever of him looking annoyed. That is his default emotion, just annoyed. Hey, maybe that's my default emotion too. At least based on what you've seen of me on my videos. It seems like every video, or every other video I make, is about me reviewing something that I'm annoyed of. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I have a friend who does that with her manga. Her, like, icon is her OC, her main character from her manga. And maybe that works. Maybe it helps remind people that I even have a comic going on at the moment. So, it might be something to do soon. Although, I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to come join the live stream or do anything today, because I had a very, very stressful morning. And not just because it's gray outside and I hate the rain and it's always raining here. Sometimes it feels like I live in the UK, it's always raining so much here. But the reason why I had a stressful morning is because while I was working on some art, my computer blue screened. Yeah, I do all my artwork on here, on this laptop, and I had one of those fucking Windows blue screen moments because I dared to try to open up a picture while drawing on Clip Studio. Can't do two things at once. That's way too much for a laptop to handle. But yeah, a complete mess. I mean, what makes it worse is that there is no hard shutoff for the laptop. Like, the power buttons these days don't actually turn off the power completely. There's a couple reasons for why that is. The reason that people cite is that because they want it to start up much quicker, to make it seem like it's more high-tech, because, oh, look how fast it starts up, but also you're not ever really able to turn it off completely. So we basically just had to, I mean, we couldn't, and that's another thing, it's not as easy as taking the battery out either, because we tried to remove the back of the laptop and it's just a fucking mess. It won't come apart, and then the battery is just this long strip behind the motherboard. Anyway, we basically just waited until the battery ran out and then turned it back on. And that is basically the only solution that we have at our disposal for when a laptop or computer blue screens. At least with my gaming PC downstairs, at least with that there is a way to hard shut it off, because I can just like unplug it or hit a switch on the back. So I kind of don't really, I mean, it's not advised that you hard shut off, but there's nothing else you can do. So it's better to have a solution than no solution, right? But yeah, real pain in the ass. This is not an old laptop by any means either. It's just kind of an issue that Windows has. Looking up the issue, though, it seems like a lot of other people were having it with this particular laptop also. Or at least the error message was the same. I don't know. I don't know the real details on it, but point that I'm making, stressful morning. So I started off the day very irritable, and I did not get a lot of work done. And the work that I did get done was just deleted. The file itself became corrupted. Luckily I have Carbonite now, right? So I could revert it back, but I could only revert it back to the day before. So that was the best I could do. And the original file is just corrupted. It won't open anymore. So the work I did this morning is gone. Oh well. It is what it is, right, guys? It's just part of the process of making comics. Oh boy. Hey, speaking of Frieren, I recently started watching the anime. It's a bit of a slow burn, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Yeah, you know, Frieren has this interesting kind of balance to it where, like, it's slow in certain sections and then it picks up and then slows down again and picks up and slows down again. I don't hate it completely. I kind of like that we have slower sections of the anime itself, because it's kind of nice to have more personal moments between the characters and between showing like relationships between the villagers and very real moments between everybody. I think is nice. You could very well argue that like some parts are too slow. I might agree with you that the beginning of Frieren feels a little slow. But I think it manages to pick up a pretty good pace. The real thing that bothers me about Frieren is that they have a tendency to split up characters and like focus on other characters, and you know, like the main cast in general, it feels like they're always kind of splitting up. They add a new party member, and then they say goodbye to that party member, and then they meet him way later, and then, you know, everyone gets split up a bunch of different times for different reasons. When I feel like, you know, it's important to strengthen the bond of a adventuring party together. It's the only reason, really, why I didn't like the mage arc as much, because they just kind of cut Stark out of the series for a little while, and then just, I've been waiting outside while you guys have been doing your mage arc. Been waiting very patiently over here while you gals were finishing up all your mage studies, you know? Like, you could have given him something to do instead of he's just waiting for them to finish. I don't know. It's a little bit eh. When will Windows stop being ass? Apparently never. I have to switch to Linux. It's the only way. One of the few who likes Frieren, but will also admit its flaws. It's very slow. Yeah. It has a stopping and starting kind of feel to it, you know? I don't hate it, though. I don't hate it. I think there are things to critique about Frieren, but I do also think it might be deserving of highest rated anime. Because I think where it does excel, where the parts that are very good are very good. I think they stick with you as an audience watching it. That's the thing. When you're experiencing those really good highlights of Frieren, that's what sticks with you, and that's what sticks in your head. And so you're always going to remember it, not for the slow parts, but you're going to remember it for those really intense and emotionally driven parts of it, because they do such a good job at that. But yeah, you know. Whole tournament arc was kind of mid. I kind of feel that too. People like tournament arcs, and for that reason alone, I think that's the only real reason why there's a tournament arc included in Frieren. I think maybe also the writer wanted to introduce new characters and have all these other different side quests, which are now coming into fruition. I can't say the word. Hang on, let me get some water. That'll help. Now coming into play, because a lot of the characters who showed up for the tournament arc are now doing their own things and playing parts in separate arcs. So was it ever necessary for there to be a tournament arc, or could they have just been introduced individually for their own separate arcs? I'm willing to reach the conclusion that perhaps they were told, maybe by an executive or higher up, a publisher, an editor, perhaps to instead insert a tournament arc into the series. I can't say for sure, but it does kind of feel like maybe. Maybe that might have happened. But I didn't think that they did a bad job at the arc. I just felt bad that yet again Stark gets backseated. He's too powerful, that's what it is. He's too strong, and therefore he can't do anything ever. But it's alright. That Frieren versus Frieren fight, though. Yeah. Well, that's a big thing about the anime, too, is that it's very well animated. Very well animated and well directed, I would say. Like, they did such a good job adapting the manga, and they deserve all the praise in the world for that. Enjoyed the one from My Hero. Yeah, everyone talks about the tournament art from My Hero Academia because it was good. That was I think for me that was where My Hero Academia was at its peak. Afterwards, I just slowly started losing more and more interest for the series. And eventually I stopped reading it. And then I hear about, like, the ending, and some people are upset about the ending. Some shippers are upset about the ending. Oh, no. Oh, Izuku lost his powers. And then everyone else is like, Izuku doesn't fuck his rival. Like, what? These are two very different complaints about the ending. But, I don't know. I never got far enough to see the ending myself. I just kind of lost interest and stopped reading. And sometimes that happens. Hey man, Carrie. Working, but keep fighting. You bet you. Oh, I like the ending of My Hero. It's the first I've heard that, so do tell. I ignore the shippers. I try to ignore the shippers, but then they come after. They come after the normies. Because they must spread their shipping religion. I don't know. It's like, are we really surprised that the main character ends up with the obvious love interest? Are we really gonna pretend like the writer was just gonna pull a gay at the end? It's so stupid. Oh well. And I think it really does bring light to why so many creators will leave romance open-ended. Because they're just worried about upsetting some weirdos online. So they're like, you know what? He ends up with nobody. Enjoy shipping. But no, I mean, he obviously liked Araka. It's not shocking at all. Is it really a top anime classic if you don't hate the ending? I didn't think of it like that, but I guess you're onto something. Yeah, you know, I heard people bitch about the Attack on Titan ending as well. I've also never finished Attack on Titan. And I don't get the ending. I asked somebody else about it who was like sort of covering but not really covering drama over the ending, and he tried to explain it to me, but then I got even more confused because he was just being too vague about like what people were upset over. And from what I gathered, they changed the ending from the manga to the anime. The anime just decided to change the ending. I don't know why. Maybe some people were upset about the manga ending, and so they tried to patch it up in the anime, but then people were even more upset about that. I'm no expert in Attack on Titan, but there's definitely a lot of anime out there where they, I don't know, either the writer themselves dropped the ball, or there are some crazy fans who are expecting something completely different. If shippers aren't playing with a full deck of cards. And maybe not. What? Now I'm reminded of the Yaoi fans sending death threats to the author of Tokyo Ghoul because the main character slept with a woman. Oh no! It's terrible. It's like the absolute entitlement of people thinking that they can just demand characters to be gay is just a little bit silly, to say the least. I mean, to some extent, I can understand getting invested in a series and then being disappointed when it doesn't meet your expectations. But the shipping is a little bit... I mean, first of all, there are absolute schizos out there who get involved in the shipping stuff. I mean, yeah, that kind of sums it up. It's just like absolute crazy people who don't have any real criticisms that are story related, or even necessarily their expectations are expectations that nobody else would have. And the shipping is like the nexus of that. Yeah, if your expectation has to be gay, it's a you problem. That's essentially what I'm saying here. Yeah, there you go. Why are you gay? It's a very funny clip out of context, for sure. Anyway, has anything else happened? Anything else you guys want to chit-chat about? Anything in the news? Or at least comic news? Ugh. Gotta get back to working on my comics soon. I haven't even been doing any drawing page streams. Maybe I should plan out a drawing page stream sometime. Although part of me is just thinking maybe people only want to watch the actual videos, so maybe I should just work on getting a new read-through finished. Are there any comics out there that you want to see me read? Oh, you know, June is coming up. You know what that means, right? You know what that means. You know what that means. It means we're gonna get some more DC Pride. If I could even finish the last DC Pride. Oh my god, the last one. Oh my god, the last one. Oh my god, the last one. What else is coming out? Nubia Too Real is coming out. Is Nubia Too Real coming out for Pride Month? Or, hang on, Too Real. Such a dumb name. Oh, it didn't even come up. Come on. Will be published September? Oh, that's so far away. I'm so upset by that. Oh no. I gotta wait all the way till September to read it. Oh, shucks. Oh, golly gosh. Aw. You poll any ideas you have. I can always read more Avengers Academy, that's for sure. Can I poll in StreamYard? I don't think I can. I think I have to be logged into, like... I think I have to be... go onto YouTube to put a poll. So everyone's just gotta... do their vote. Your boy Zach mentioned you in one of his recent videos. Oh yeah? Hopefully positive things. I haven't checked in on him in a long time, admittedly. At one point he used to watch my videos though. About the misprint. About the misprint. About the misprint. Misprint. There was a misprint. I don't know. I guess a lot of indie comics have misprints, so that's a little bit vague for me. There is a drama with Eric July, and people used your video. Used my video. Which one of my videos? I guess maybe they're just using a clip from one of my videos. I've certainly complained about indie comics having mistakes before. Not that it ruins my experience, but like it's something that I always have to like mention just so people know. Pandemic. Oh yeah, that's right. There was the perspective tool on his comic book. The artist left the perspective tool on and nobody noticed. That was funny though. I did mention that, but mostly because I thought it was funny. It wasn't a mistake. The artist said that it was a mistake. He commented on that video and he was like, oh yeah, I left the perspective tool on, my bad. There were some people who were like, oh, well those could be the wires for the bridge. And it's like, man, maybe that's fine, but, you know, they said it wasn't. Well, that's different from when I first posted the video. How do you leave a perspective tool on your page and not notice it? I don't know. I don't know. I think, yeah, because they posted another picture of the bridge later with the perspective tool turned off, and then it looked normal. So they entered panic mode. Uh-oh. I don't like panic mode. Turn panic mode off. Calm down. The misprint drama seems so forced. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with any drama. So, yeah. He explains it in the vid, but overall mentions you are an honest reviewer. It's my thing. I tend to be honest. Yay, drama free. Yeah, don't keep up with the drama, not worth it. Yeah, it seems like kinda easy to get sucked into that stuff. Because, I don't know, some people get really paranoid, like, because someone offers a critique or something, that it's somehow a personal attack, or that it's you trying to ruin their reputation, or, I don't know, ruin their career or something, but no, it's fine. It's okay to get some criticism here and there. It doesn't mean that we want you to fail, exactly. Just focus on the hobbies more? Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that. Can't take it anymore with this pettiness. I saw some petty art on artist drama this morning. I don't know how this stuff appears on my feed, but every now and then, you know, something really stupid appears on my feed. And there was this one, like, artist versus artist drama. And you can tell that it's gonna be, like, stupid right away. Because, like, they make a post and they're like, check out my doc, I'm exposing these people, right? And then it's like, okay, so Anna posted a video in Vietnam, and she said, wow, this is way different than America. And then someone else took it badly. Like, they were saying that Vietnam was worse than America. And so, like, George over here has gotten the fight with... It's like, shut the fuck up! Shut up! Nobody cares! It's so petty, and it's so high schoolery. Is so cliquey, like, at the table, like, oh my god, it's like, shut up. Stupid. Nobody cares about any of this shit. If you're gonna expose someone, it should be, like, something horrible and dramatic. Not their opinion on a picture. God damn it. Ugh. But yeah. So, every time I hear that there's some sort of drama happening online, or even in the indie comics space, I always take it with a grain of salt. Like, 9 out of 10 times, it's not as serious and dramatic as everyone blows it up to be. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just some petty shit. Like, saying Vietnam is different from America. It's so petty and tiny, and nobody cares. At the end of the day, sometimes it's just like, nobody fucking cares. Yeah. You really have to try. You have to try to care about stuff like that. You have to really, you know, like Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like drawing the red tape around the board. Like, what he actually meant was racism. You know? Fucking, you have to really try to reach some sort of, and so they're evil conclusion from some of this stupid, petty, he said, she said type of shit. Yeah. I just can't stand how these creators constantly accuse each other of bad faith reviews, calling names like birthday party clowns for no reason or very petty ones. Yeah, I don't know. Not that I wouldn't say that some people could make a bad faith review, like just review somebody's comic simply because they don't like the person and trash it. I could see somebody doing that. I could definitely see somebody doing that, but the majority of the time that is not going to happen. You know, I've had people review my comics, and sometimes they review it positively, sometimes they review it negatively, and I don't make a big stink about it, because, you know, I gotta expect to get some negative reviews sometimes. It's just kind of the way of life. But it feels better that people feel like they don't have to, I guess, hide when they're disappointed with something that I've made. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like almost relieving when somebody knows that they don't have to hide that they're disappointed about, you know, like they don't have to fake it if they're not feeling it. A certain story I come out with, or whatever I do, really. Easiest way to deal with critique: say thank you for the critique. I'll take that into consideration and do my best next time. Move on with your life. Totally true. It's basically how I've been sifting through life. It's just like, yes, I will take your critiques into account. I will consider them. Doesn't mean I'm just going to blindly listen to everybody's advice, of course. I'm not going to create a Frankenstein, you know, comic with a bunch of different advice from different people. But I consider how people felt about certain things and how I can kind of shift to give people more of a positive outlook in general over a comic. And sometimes it's difficult. Obviously, you won't be able to please everyone, but at least try to think of ways you can please your main core audience. That's the best advice I can give at the end of the day. Not to mention, it's possible for people to be wrong in a review without anything nefarious behind it. Absolutely. I've definitely been wrong in some of my reviews sometimes. Sometimes I have I'll misremember things that I've read, or I'll mix up information. And usually I become mortified after posting a review like that and take it down. But, you know, I'm sure some reviews are still up. Maybe with me, like, correcting myself in the comments section. And be like, I'm sorry, I got this thing wrong. I said somebody's name wrong. I'm sorry. You know, like, it's difficult. Especially when you're throwing yourself out there publicly to try to talk about something that you've read and your experience reading it. And that can also be equally as stressful as making the comic in the first place. And, you know, sometimes people don't really think of it that way. But making these videos and sitting down and editing these videos, or even just being on a live stream and trying to say the right thing all of the time, difficult. It's not as easy as it looks. But, you know, I think the best way to go about it, in theory, is just being genuine. You know, just trying to be transparent with everybody so that people kind of understand that if you make a mistake, it's a genuine mistake. It's not malicious. It's not me trying to pwn anyone. What do the kids say these days? I don't know. But yeah. It's just me trying to be genuine and trying to genuinely explain how I felt about a comic or a thing or the latest news, you know? Pettiness between comic creators seems really petty when you consider that this drama is over comic books. Yeah, well, the frustrating thing that I find about it is that we're all kinda in the same boat. You know, most of us, right? You could argue there's a spectrum. Some of us are a little higher up than others, but most of us are in kind of this shitstorm we call indie comics, and it's really difficult to get any traction and get people reading your comics without this huge advertising company behind you, or without stores stocking your books all across the globe, you know? So we're all like kind of doing our thing and trying our best to make a good quality comic first and foremost, and then also sell it to the public, basically do it mostly on our own. But then third thing, you know, is we collaborate with each other and we try to lift up each other, and it's a really great system for a community when it works. When everyone can agree that we're all on the same side, when we can all lift each other up. But then, you know, the pettiness starts, and, you know, people don't agree with each other on like really tiny things, and then they start getting all snippy with each other. And the funny thing is, sometimes I see these scenarios where different people in the indie comics will disagree with each other, get in a huge fight, never talk to each other again. Years later, they'll change their minds. They'll change their minds and they'll actually end up agreeing with this thing that they disagreed with like a couple years ago. It's like, what? You fought with this person and cut them out of your life for nothing. You know what I mean? It's fine. It's okay. I don't really, oh, you only have one day left to post for more Mermay. I didn't do anything for Mermay. I'm sorry, guys. I very rarely participate in a lot of the artist trends online, mostly just because I forget that they even exist. I think I've only once in my entire life ever did an Inktober thing. Only once. It is funny when you are confidently incorrect. It's a little bit funny, yes. I've only done 1.5. A half mermaid drawing. Wonder what a half means. It's just the tail part. Well, you've done more than me, Chris, so good for you. The money is drying up for some creators and they're lashing out. That's an interesting theory. I mean, yeah, sales have definitely been going down, mostly because of the economy going to shit ever since, like, 2020 was the boom, right? Or it was one of the booms anyways. But it was a considerable boom when it came to crowdfunded comics, and then it's just kind of been slowly teetering down at the bottom. Part of the reason, I think that we've hit rock bottom, so I think it's gonna kick up again. I just don't know when exactly it's gonna go back up. And it's hard to really plan for that, you know? Especially when comics take so much time. And you gotta wonder, when is a good time to actually launch the campaign and actually start advertising for this? And I think, personally, I think I might been late to start work on Reaper Book 2. Not that it's, I mean, that I might have launched the campaign early, But in theory, I should have already been ready to have the campaign. It's because that I should have already been ready for the campaign that I launched it at this time. And that's kind of fine. I let people know ahead of time, like, how much left I have to do and how long it's actually going to take. And, you know, I just kind of put myself out there and hope that the transparency is enough so that people don't have a false expectation when it comes to the length of time it's going to take to actually get the book. But in theory, I like to launch my campaigns when I'm halfway done the book already. And for this one, like, I'm just a little, like, maybe halfway into chapter 2. There's 6 chapters in total for book 2, right? Really, it's like chapter 8 if I'm together, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it's just difficult knowing when is a good time to be launching. When are we going to see that crowdfunding boom that we saw a couple of years back? I don't know. I don't know when it's going to pick up again. I'm thinking maybe we've already reached the bottom and now we're going to start climbing back up. Am I being too optimistic? Maybe. I'm not a future seer, but 2020 is a good indicator that I'm not a very good future seer. I remember I made a video at the beginning of 2020 where I was like, I think it's going to be a good year. Why did you say that, Dannphan? You cursed us all with the pandemic. But you know what I mean. I'm not good at seeing the future. This is the point I'm trying to make. It's always weird when the beef gets really petty and personal, but then a year later they're buddy-buddy like nothing happened. It reminds me of my mom. She is the type to start like petty fights and then be like, well, I apologized, so we should just go back to normal. Everything's back to normal again. Now we get to be friendsies. I guess it is kind of like kindergartner logic, right? Where you say you're okay, go start playing again, like everything's fine. Yeah, 2020 was so bad. We're still recovering 5 years later. Man. You go with the opposite of what you say. No! I'll be the, what's the comparison that, that, like, Donkey uses? Armand White? Just everything that he says, do the opposite of, because he's always wrong. Some people never outgrow school. It seems like it. Or maybe some people just, like, maybe they grow out of it, but then they readapt it later on. You know what I mean? When, you know, you can relearn behaviors that you should have grown out of and stayed out of. I think maybe part of the issue with the drama stuff is that there's so much incentivizing it online. Like, there's so much positive things that can happen from creating drama. Obviously, you get the views, you'll get more people donating to you and more people taking your side, and get more attention, more people talking about your work, if you have any work, if you're selling anything. That used to be the theory of why movies and games always made these terrible decisions, was just so articles and people would be talking about them and talking about how, like, bad this decision is. Because in theory, so long as people are talking about it, it'll increase their sales. You gotta, you know, create the drama so that you become viral online, etc., etc. I don't know. it feels like it just gets more and more petty as it goes on, and it's difficult to really get invested in any of it. Because, like, as I said, at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, I just don't care anymore, you know? It's just hard to care about these itty-bitty tiny things. And I know that you're, like, gonna change your mind in a year or two. Give it 2 years and you'll be friends and buddy-buddy all over again. It's like, my heart cannot take getting invested in all of this. It's too much. I don't want to watch like 7 different videos to get caught up on a drama. And that's what it is. That's what it is, like 90% of the time, is like, there's some drama between 2 people, but it like started months ago, so you have to watch like 7 different streams to figure out like how it started and how it ended, so that you can pick a side. The side that I usually pick is that you're both idiots. That's usually the side that's my standard side that I pick, is that you're both idiots, you shouldn't be making any of this public, because you both look stupid. Worked it out amongst yourselves. I'm not interested in this. You know what I mean? Yeah, emotional damage. What new comics animations did you read, watch, and you liked? You know, I have been watching some new anime recently. I've been watching the Anne of Green Gables anime adaptation. I think it's just called Anne Shirley. That's been kind of cute. And then I started watching this kind of weird one that's like, it's a baseball anime, but it's not a sports anime. It's not about playing baseball. It's about the people who work at the stadium where other people play baseball. Anime! Anime! You're really thinking outside the box, or should I say inside the stadium. It's called, Catch Me at the Ballpark. Although I think the original title is Catcher at the Ballpark. But that's been kinda okay, you know? It's one of those character-centric anime, and I don't hate it. It is kind of just all fluff, and there's not a lot going on with it, but it's perfectly acceptable to watch. Animation's a little rough in some sections. The ending theme of Catch Me at the Ballpark. The ending theme is quite unique, and I like it. It's weird compliment, right? Because normally I compliment the opening theme for getting me hyped up. I don't really give a shit about the opening theme. But the ending theme is like this, it's like this rubber hose almost animation that they do with the girls like dancing and stuff. And it's super saturated, which is very contrast to actual rubber hose animation, where it's, you know, kind of either black and white or super toned down in colors. But it looks really interesting. And, you know, it kind of goes with the music and everything. And I like it. I will say I like it. The music itself is also, like, kind of fun. As far as comics, I have a couple comics that I have to start reading, but I haven't really gotten it. I have Phenomenova 2, and sorry, Vaughn, but it's just been sitting on my shelf. I haven't read it yet, so I have to get into that and figure out if the story is going in a good direction. But, you know, it pays too well to keep private. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I heard that Graveless one was good. A baseball anime, but it focuses on the behind-the-scenes part of it. It's a good concept. I thought so. It's interesting, because you keep on thinking, like, how are they going to make this work? The main character is actually a beer vendor girl. Wouldn't expect that one, but yeah, she's like a beer vendor girl. And the series starts off with her like meeting one of the attendees in the stadium to go watch baseball. And he's like kind of the typical overworked employee, so he goes to watch baseball to relax. And she kind of flirts with him. It's kind of the idea. Or maybe it's like unintentional flirting, but there's obviously supposed to be some connection between the two of them. And that's how they start off the series. So it gets you a little bit invested on like potential romance, but then it switches it up and shows you new and different other characters amongst the stadium working there. So it is interesting. And there's English. There is some English in the show. So if you really like the Joseph, oh my god, you're gonna get some of that in the. It makes sense, right? Because baseball's an American sport, and I think America and Japan are the only two countries that share baseball with each other. I could be wrong. Maybe there's some other countries I don't know about that also have baseball. But for the most part, the people that are both doing baseball tournaments and everything are basically Japan and America. So it makes sense that they would have some maybe American players that get transferred over there, and maybe the other way around also. But yes. So there's an American player from Chicago. I think there's two American players, but one of them in particular is from Chicago. I was impressed on how good the voice actors were at English pronunciation, or specifically American English pronunciation. And then like even some of the people in the stands who are supposed to be American but they're speaking Japanese, you can still hear like they're trying to do an American accent while speaking Japanese. I found that to be interesting as well. Because it's like, oh, okay, so they're trying to like mess up their own language a little bit to sound more American. All right. If we did that here, it would be considered racist. But for me, like watching the subtitle version of this anime, I kind of appreciated the fact that I could hear that they're supposed to have an American accent when they're speaking Japanese. I thought that was interesting, actually. But yeah, the English is like, the grammar is all messed up, but the accent kind of fits. It kind of sounds right. Sorry, I missed you. Ten Math God. Sent you some stuff on my upcoming comic Wonder Garden. Oh, get a little German in there. I think I have seen, you sent me an email earlier too, right? Cause it's kind of funny, but I had like an email sent to me, for your comic, right? And I think it was from you, but then somebody else also sent me, like, forwarded an email to me about Wonder Garden, because I think it was like sent to them also accidentally. I'm not 100% sure, but I was a little bit confused because I got two different emails and I was like, what's going on here? These are from two different people. But yes, I'll check it out. And everyone else, I guess now you guys also know. It sounds like you got some German influence in there. Perhaps Wonder Garden, Wonderland. Are we getting Alice in Wonderland vibes in there? Hmm? Let's see, beer girls at baseball parks is kind of a big thing in Japan. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't even think about that stuff because I'm not really into sports or anything, but I guess there are definitely beer vendors, and it makes sense, you know, maybe to get some beer vendor girls. I heard some Japanese like baseball because it's like a turn-based game. That's a funny theory. I don't know. Oh, baseball is huge in Cuba and the Caribbean. Didn't know that. Alright. So we got other people who's doing the baseball thing. I get it. I did not need to know about this, Rob. I'm not gonna look that up. Don't spread this curse on me. Okay, big crossover with all the fairy tales I could put into it. Cosmic horror, too. Oh, okay. Interesting. Now, because Wundergarten is German, I typically pronounce it with a German pronunciation, so it would be Wundergarten. Yeah, that's right. It's kind of funny. Adam and I were talking about this when he used to take like a German class to learn German, but he only gets he only took away like a few phrases and stuff from it. We were talking about like how a lot of words are almost exactly the same in English and in German, but just with a different pronunciation, and how like V's just look similar to W's. So we were wondering if there was throughout time, if they were all just spelled the same, but during some period in time, the W just became its own sound, and then we split it into a V also. Sometimes people forget that, like, English is a Germanic language. There's a lot of words that are kind of similar throughout Europe. It all kind of was one at one point. At one point, anyway. One point in history. They serve in Japanese baseball stadiums. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they also serve beer at some American stadiums, too. I mean, I'm sure they at least sell beer during football stadiums. I mean, people would definitely be buying a lot. But yeah. Shout out to Tapas. Okay, random shout out to Tapas, but okay. Oh, we are getting to the end of the stream, guys. I just looked at the time. I'm not making it up, I swear. We are actually, yeah, just a couple minutes here. So, I'll do one more reminder, do my whole spiel, right? It's just on Fund My Comic right now. Just 14 more days if you wanted to pre-order Reaper Book 1 or both Book 1 and 2. You got 14 days to go on Fund My Comic. And yeah, it's not on Kickstarter anymore, guys. The Kickstarter's over. So if you wanted any of these special goodies over here, it's your place to... Oh, look at that! Sold out of the soul vials. Oh, I can hear many, many people crying. There's no more soul vials. You are too slow. Kidding. But yes, so if anyone at all wants to back and pre-order, get their book in print while they still can, go ahead, check it out. Somebody was asking this morning, or maybe last night, I get my days mixed up, but somebody was asking before if there are digital versions available. So, if you would like to get Book 1 digitally, there is a digital version on burningstarcomics.net. You can go check that out. Of course, if you want them both in physical, you can pre-order both of them on the campaign page. They're both available there. You'll get them both at the same time that way, and you can read them in one go. Very nice. But yes, you can also just order Book 1, a physical copy on burningstarcomics.net if you want to read the first book before deciding if you want the second book. Because I get it. You don't... a lot of people don't want to get too invested in a series unless they know for sure it's going to be something that they like. At the same time, a lot of people don't want to start reading a series unless they can binge a lot of it all at once. So it really depends on what your style is, how you like to get into comics, and how you like to start reading a series. I like your content because you keep it real, keep doing what you're doing. Ah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, hour went by real quick, that's for sure. We spent a lot of time this stream just talking about the drama. I didn't mean to, I swear. It's just, you bring it up and then all of a sudden, it all just starts flowing out. Reminding me of all these other dramas that I've watched on the sides, and it is exhausting after a while. But, you know, I'm just gonna keep doing me. As cliche of a saying as that is, yeah, I'm just gonna relax, keep my head down, and kind of just focus on what I'm doing, and try to do the best that I can do, and hopefully, you know, people recognize that. There was this one quote that I really liked, but I forget who said it, so I can't really give anyone credit for this quote. But I believe the quote is, "Become undeniable," or something like that. It's this idea that if people are critiquing your work, don't get pulled down by that. You know, just work hard to be much better than your last work until you, in theory, become undeniable. Because, you know, reach apotheosis of be the best that you can be, so that people need to recognize that you're at least trying, and that you're at least getting better, and that you are better than what you were yesterday, let's just say. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. So, you know, just remember, everyone's trying. Everyone. They're all trying in their own little ways. So, thank you guys for joining me on this fantastic Friday with Dannphan. I'm gonna get back to working myself. Maybe get some food in me so that my brain can work better. Because I feel like I was stuttering a little bit during the stream. But then again, who doesn't stutter every once in a while? So thank you, everybody, and I'll catch you not at the ballpark, but I'll catch you in 2 weeks, because I'm gonna be dark. We're going dark on the Dannphan channel for about a week. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Keep on doing what you're doing.